rehoused in council housing, social housing. The welfare state looked after us poor little immigrant Jews. And we were sent to this lovely house, there we have it. Asthma runs in my family. Asthma runs in my husband's family. So my daughter was not inoculated. I, however, have talked to many people over the years, 22 years I've lived with my daughter, and over the years, many people have said the same thing, that when we were little, chickenpox, you took your kid to get the chickenpox. You made sure your child was near somebody who had it. My brother got mumps, he lived to tell the tale. I don't know if we had measles. I was sitting next to Nick Owen on the settee at TVAM when his children were incubating rubella, which is measles, and I was pregnant. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't be using science and medicine to make everybody healthy, but there's an obsession now with trying to sanitize absolutely everything. And if your child's immune system is strong enough, it will fight and it will grow and it will be strong. Too many antibiotics, we now have MRSA and superbugs. I'm not an expert. This is what I have observed. Phone me, 08456060973, if you chose to stand under the tree in the field outside the herd. Tracy in Olympia, talk to me.
Hi, Jenny.
Hi, lovely.
Yes, I'd like to totally agree with you, the fact that immunisation is totally unnecessary, especially in this day and age when hygiene has changed so much since how it used to be. I have 4 children, the eldest being 12, the youngest being 3. You're probably hearing in the background right now.
No, listen, talk to her before you talk to me. Just talk to her for a second.
Right. Okay, darling, come in the kitchen. Got decorators in. You go and stay with them in the kitchen. There you go. And Mummy talk on the phone. There, she's gone.
Well done, you. Go on.
My eldest is 12. My youngest is 3. None of them have ever been vaccinated, immunised. And
go on.
They're all very healthy children. They don't have any autoimmune diseases. They don't suffer asthma, eczema. I just think it's total abuse of the immune system.
No, I want to do this slowly because you're going to have people phoning in saying that you're utterly irresponsible. 12 years ago when you had your first baby, why did you not have them inoculated?
It started off, I went on a short course about, it was a choice, making a choice about vaccination. And it was run by homeopaths.
But why did you go on that course in the first place?
Because I had a feeling inside, I inherently knew that it must be wrong to be putting toxins and poisonous material into a young baby's body.
Right.
Simple as that.
Right.
Mercury, formaldehyde, live viruses are cured in monkeys' kidneys. How can that be right for your child?
Now, are you, by any stretch of the imagination, described as a crank by your friends?
No, they all know me too well now.
But when you made that decision, and when I made that decision 22 years ago, it is about the loneliest decision you're ever going to make.
Oh, absolutely. Even your family, you'll have people standing up saying, why aren't you being irresponsible? You've got the doctors, you've got the health authorities. You just have to take the bull by the horns and confront that on a daily basis. People at the school would frown upon me as if my child was in some way going to infect their child by not being vaccinated. But I'm a very strong-willed person anyway. And from what I learned from my first son being born, I decided, I want to take this further and investigated it a bit more and went on to college and trained to become a homeopath.
Really?
Yes, and it all came from initially just thinking, well, do I want to do this? And it all started with that very first thought. And you know what? The more you investigate it, the more you find out about it. And anyone right now, this moment in time, can go on the internet, they can go on sites, they can find out the dangers of vaccination and make their own informed decision. I'm not saying that for everybody it's going to be as straightforward and a straight cut as I was able to make that decision myself. But I just knew from the beginning it's the wrong thing.
But this is fascinating. Tracy, let me ask you this. When measles, if there's a case of measles at the kids' school, or if there's a case of mumps or chicken pox, what do you do? Because
I say, great, come on kids, let's go get it, because children get childhood diseases for a reason. It's to boost their immune system, so that later on in life, when they come into contact with those diseases, it doesn't affect them so severely. And that is why they're called childhood diseases. The only reason children get really, really ill and perhaps, suffer serious side effects are A, if their immune system is not strong enough to fight off the virus, or B, if they're being suppressed by drugs or in some other way, you know, suppressant drugs or given too much antibiotics or whatever.
No, you see, Tracy, people will hear what you're saying and they'll say, it's all right for you.
Yeah.
You know, as you've quite rightly said, your kids, thank God, touch wood, and I'm touching it as we speak.
Yeah.
They have run through this.
Yeah.
But you are saying that it is an individual decision, aren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I would never, even in my job, I would never say to people, you mustn't do that. I would give them the facts and say, this is what I've come across. Go on these websites. You know, there's thousands out there. Do your own investigations. Don't take my word for it. You know, everything I say, it may be my truth, it may not be yours, but you must investigate it yourself and don't take the easy way out. I've had doctors ringing me at home, I've had health visitors having angry conversations with me, and now what I say to those people whose minds I'm not going to change anyway, that's fine. I just say, well, it is my choice and I am making an informed decision, and every parent has the right to make an informed decision. Unfortunately, not many people do want to do that.
Tracy, I think with you inspiring them, they may jolly well want to after that. Fantastic. 2:15. I know I shouldn't be biased, so I talk to Alan Joyce and travel instead. Go on.
Join in London's biggest conversation. Call Jeni Barnett 0845 6060 973. Text 84850.
You just heard from Tracy, 4 kids, became a homeopath on the back of thinking about whether or not she should have a first child immunised. And this is on the back of us being the dirty land, really. We are the dirty land of Europe. A new study has documented that we are now up there with the best of them, with more cases than measles than we should have. They wanted to banish measles from Europe by 2010. There are many other ways of doing it rather than jabbing people, and I am a responsible parent. This is from Merrigan. Oh, this is from Kay, forgive me. That was the email address. My son was fully immunised against MMR. I did not let my younger daughter have the MMR booster. They had been fine until this summer. My fully immunised son caught mumps mildly, and everyone thought that it was a dead cert that my daughter would get it worse. Guess what? She didn't get a single symptom. Interesting. The doctors did not know what to do with the mumps. It had been so long since they'd seen it. They had to look up on the computer or in their manuals to answer my questions about incubation or staying out of circulation. Now, you heard what our young homeopath just said. There are always two sides. You've got to make an informed decision, and your children will not be the same as anybody else's children. But I can remember my brother getting mumps, and I can remember him sitting in bed with swollen glands, and I can remember him being jelly and ice cream, and I can remember running around and not getting mumps, and I can remember my mother saying, we've got to be careful because he's a boy, and you know what happens with mumps. I didn't know what happened with mumps. Who knew? It was something to do with the testicular region. But the fact is that the more we sanitise society and the more we become absolutely, what's the word when you are hypocritical about stuff. You cannot, on the one hand, support how we're letting our children run riot and not converse with each other and not read and not play and all the other stuff that we're doing, and then get up in high dudgeon when we don't put drugs into their body. Stick the kids out running in air. Ban cars on the road. Make them have 6 hours a day PE at school. Give them an hour every single day where they're running around and playing rounders and climbing walls, and not just a few. Not just my daughter's beautiful boy Nathan. He's a footballer. He gets an infection. He falls over. He gets better because he's always running and jumping and doing star jumps or whatever you do. We have to look at the source of this, and it's not good. You just heard that clip from Nick Ferrari's programme. If you scaremonger, people don't know how to make clear decisions about something. Do you want your kid to have an inoculation or don't you? Don't make people feel guilty if they make a decision that they don't want to have drugs put into them. When I was out in America 18 months ago, the only case